Our story begins with an introduction to the Empire's royal daughter, Martina Moran. She is a real monster, which is why all the aristocrats hate her. However, she has a pet, which she calls her daughter, and which loves her sincerely. A magical beast, something like a Chinese unicorn, can choose a king or queen if it takes care of her and turn into a human. But one day, the magical beast dies. Martina is ready to do anything to protect the animal, which is like a daughter to her. She is given a chance to live her life again and save Lily, the name of the magical beast. The gods tell her that to do this, she must receive the kiss of loyalty from the pillars of the state. Martina does not give up, and, remembering her past life, decided to gain the loyalty of her subjects. But the people whose devotion she is supposed to receive in the form of a kiss are some real weirdos. Among them, the cold general and the charming secretary stand out. Martina also plans to punish her daughter's killer. Martina will not give up, and her adventures begin. In the picture, we have the main characters, the pillars that Martina must conquer, the heroine herself, the villain, her brother, and a magical animal. So, now in more detail, because that was a preview, our story takes place in the Kingdom of Moran. The Kingdom of Moran has always been protected by a magical beast that resembles a slimmed-down Makona from the manga Triplexaholic. Every member of the royal family has this sacred beast, and for them, it is like a child. The sacred animal must be cared for very carefully so that it will protect the kingdom and help the imperial family. This miracle is that Yudo can take on human form and become strongly attached to its parent. Magical beast Lily is very attached to her parent, Martina Moran, and always wants to play with her, despite her busy schedule. Many people think that Martina is just a monster and a bitch. She has terrible titles. But for Lily, this woman in the portrait is simply an angel, and her bloodthirsty titles are wonderful. Lily comes to some banquet, and she finds her adoptive mother in the crowd. Martina, despite her bloody reputation, is a great woman of the empire for the kingdom. Lily happily hugs her mother, who also loves her daughter. Lily invites Martina to play every day. They start playing together and having fun. The pillars of the empire sit at the table and drink tea, watching Martina and Lily play. Lily asks who Martina will marry, and who will become Lily's father. Martina asks if Lily talks about those people at the table. For Lily, these representatives of the aristocracy are wonderful candidates for fathers. Lily, especially, singles out those individuals. The secretary and the general, a harem awaits us. Martina doesn't like any of the candidates, and says that Lily is enough for her alone. In short, Martina is quite the darling since she refuses a man's shower. Martina wants to protect Lily at all costs. The reason why Martina wants to protect Lily is that in her past life, Lily died, and Martina did not save her. Martina dreams of her past life like a bad dream. Lily's magical beast died in Martina's past life. Martina's older brother, Mayfield, accuses Martina of a crime, the murder of a sacred beast. Martina denies everything. She is ready to cure the magical beast and give everything she has. Lily, dying, extends her tiny paw to her. Martina is ready to listen to Lily's last words. Lily dies. She does not blame Martina for anything, and she is in great pain. Martina is powerless. Her Morton magic cannot heal Lily. Mayfield leans over her and speaks in an ominous whisper. He demands that Martina repent for killing the beast and tells her that Lily will not live a day. The court magician has already examined the poor thing. As punishment for the murder committed, Mayfield strips Martina of her noble title. He orders his warriors to beat Martina with whips. Mayfield hates his sister, not only lashes, but also orders Martina to be banished from the kingdom. Martina is beaten. In her past life, she was quite the loser. Martin was exiled to a deserted and cold plain. Mayfield inherited the throne because he was able to raise his magical beast. Mayfield is a nasty guy. He always opposed Martina. But she will not give in and will take back her crown. Martina walks across the snowy plain, grieving for Lily. Martina's last wish in that life was to resurrect her child. Martine manages to escape from exile by breaking her shackles. Upon learning of this, her cruel brother sends assassins after her. Martina managed to escape from them, and she is looking for a way to get her daughter back. After a long search, Martina gets lucky. She finds an ancient prophet who apparently escaped from Disney. In the Pocahontas cartoon, it was Grandmother Willow. Maybe he is her relative. However, Martina asks Old Man Willow to resurrect her daughter. The magical Willow warns her that Martina will pay a price for everything. It asks if Martina is willing to pay with her life for her daughter's resurrection. It smacks of Full Metal Alchemist. Anyway, the magic willow promises Martina a new life and takes Lily's body. Do you think Martina is ready to move on to a new life? The answer is obvious. Martina takes a sword from her bosom. Martina is ready to give up her life and return to the past. The action moves again to the Morton Empire, to a beautiful castle with Bavarian architecture. Martina jumps out of bed. Martina is surprised that she hasn't lost weight, hasn't cut her hair, and looks as usual. Martina went back in time to change her history. The devil awakens in Martina. She will take cruel revenge on her enemies. Her pendant, which she created to track her daughter, is burning, meaning Lily is not dead. Lily has returned as an egg and is lying in her cradle. Martina will never part with her daughter. Martina gets very nervous when she sees her daughter. She's afraid she'll hit her or drop her. But here's the problem. The promised protection from the prophet does not come. Suddenly, a system appears that informs her that the promised protection method has been delivered. The sacred beast and the parent are one, and the sacred beast is associated with the prosperity of the country, as Martina knows. Therefore, the pillars of the empire must perform the kiss of loyalty, through which the beast receives magical energy to protect the country. The pillars of the state are great and irreplaceable talents for the prosperity of the country. Martina remembers everything related to the information known to her. She read in books that kissing was a secret method for raising a magical beast. But getting a kiss from Martine won't be easy, as her reputation is simply terrible. Since childhood, Martina had been picking fights with her brother and did not shine among the ladies of the court. Her character and antics were criticized by the entire society of the country. Martine will have to change to save her daughter. Martina wants to become a mother that her child will be proud of. Martina wants Lily to never know sorrow. Martina loves her pet very much and spoils her in every possible way. Louise, a palace servant, and Linny, a palace guard, come to her. They want to introduce our heroine to today's schedule. Martina commandingly orders them to come to her, which terrifies them. Martina innocently asks them to kiss her on the cheek. Linny and Louise think she's gone crazy. Nevertheless, the maid and the guards carry out her order. These maids both feel devotion to Martina and are pillars. We have some Yuri going on here. In her past life, Linny stood up for Martina, and Louise married her brother and became a noblewoman. Martina was not interested in court life and who her brother's spy was. But in this life, she will act differently and will definitely survive. Martina thanks them for taking care of her. Martina gives the servants 3 days off, and they are incredibly happy. Martina says goodbye to the joyful servants, believing that she has improved her reputation. Martina wants to lull the spies' vigilance. The servants are actively discussing how kind Martina has become. The secretary listens with interest to Louise's stories about Martina's strange antics. The secretary thinks that all this is very strange. Martina believes that past experiences will help her understand people better. Martina looks at her food plate and remembers her secretary, who is also a butler. However, something intriguing happened between her and the butler in the past. This is how we meet Miel, Vanko, Martina's childhood friend, a sensitive and attentive secretary. Martina looks at Miel in horror, as if she had seen a ghost. The girl expresses her emotions in her own way, that her secretary is alive. He doesn't understand her and apologizes for disappointing the heroine by being alive. Miel is curious about what happened to Martina this morning. Martina has always had a special relationship with Miel, and she is happy that he is alive. In a past life, Miel protected our heroine from death at the cost of his life. He gave his life so that Martina could be saved, and as I understand it, he meant by his last words a declaration of love. Martina is happy that Miel is alive, but he doesn't know what the heroine went through. Martina decides not to tell Miel what happened. Martina lies and says that she had a terrible dream. She believes that Miel will work for her for 100 years. Miel understands her joke that he will serve her until the grave, and calls her a villain as a joke. The girl asks him to kiss her on the cheek. Miel doesn't want to do this, but she tells him sternly that she will deprive him of his salary. Miel adjusts her glasses and says that she is incorrigible. After this kiss, it becomes clear that the heroes love each other and are not just a princess and a servant. Martina herself notes that Miel's kiss of fidelity is simply amazing. In a past life, the legendary pillars were banished from the country. But our villain decides to bring them all back to the country and get their kisses, while having a harem. Martina asks him to tell her about today's schedule. Miel begins to list what awaits Martina today. A dressmaking studio and tea at Countess Peating's await her. But Martina won't go anywhere. She hates tea parties because there are always dogs there, which she doesn't like. Miel says that there will be a ball in the evening, to which her brother, Mayfield, is inviting everyone. And the heroine has a bad relationship with her brother, but she needs to follow protocol. Martina decides to forget about her relationship with her brother and go to the ball for the sake of the plan to return the pillars. Leanne Hisning, one of the pillars, a general, a black god of war, and the youngest heir to the Hisning Empire, is expected to appear at this ball. He was like Guts from Berserk. He joined the mercenaries when the Empire didn't like him. The Hisning Empire went to war with the Martina Kingdom, and Leon won victory after victory. For his coldness and ruthlessness in battle, he was given the title of the Black God of War. He was hired by a nobleman as a bodyguard at a ball, but he clashed with a noble lady. He caused her only fear and disgust, and Mayfield kicked Leon out of the ball to protect the nobles. Martina wants to get Leon's kiss to strengthen relations between the countries. Martina orders that the most beautiful dress be prepared for her for the ball. The action moves to a ballroom, similar to the hall from the cartoon Anastasia. Nobles and aristocrats are already scurrying around here to scold someone. Martina has a bad relationship with the nobility and rarely attends balls. Martina decides to improve relations with the nobles, but she does it very badly. Martina tries to understand why no one is greeting her. The local nobleman tells her that he thought she would lock herself in the little room. Martina says she visited them because she wanted to see idiots dance. Nobleman Edgar is furious at her rudeness. Suddenly, Mayfield appears in all his glory. A spark of hatred runs between him and his sister. Mayfield orders the ball to continue, despite his sister's antics. Edgar leaves, tearing and slashing everything. The brother and sister are left alone. They are left alone, and the tension continues to rise. Mayfield asks why she came, since she hates balls. Mayfield is surprised by his sister's response. He feels that his sister didn't just want to dance. He happily informs her that everyone knows her, and no one will want to dance with her. Martina listens to everything calmly. Time passes, but no one wants to ask her to dance. The nobles are busy with their own affairs and look at her with suspicion. Mayfield looms over her like a snake and tells her that there will be a scandal if she is not invited to dance. Mayfield invites the heroine to submit to him and admit that he is cooler than her. But our heroine is a tough nut to crack. Everyone hears the noblewoman screaming for Leon not to touch her, and everyone stops the ball. Martina sweetly informs her brother that she has already found a dance partner. In the eyes of the aristocrats, landless mercenaries can sell their fighting power. Mercenaries are like dogs that fight for money as if it were a piece of meat. Once you pay a mercenary, he will immediately sell his loyalty. This noble lady, like all aristocrats, believes that there is no need to be nice to mercenaries. Liana's employer blamed everything on him, and a fight broke out between them. They demand an apology from Leon, but he does not want to humiliate himself and ask for forgiveness. Those who captured Leon were not of noble origin, but Leon doesn't want to stop them from capturing him, as this could lead to a conflict between the countries. He told his subordinates about his bitter memory. The nobles consider Leon to be nothing but scum. But as Liana is being led away from the castle, a voice is heard ordering her to release her dance partner. Leon is surprised, who decided not to treat him like a dog. Martina angrily tells the guards that Leon is her dance partner. The ungrateful noblewoman tries to object to her. But how can you object to our charming heroine? Martina tells the girl that her screams are no worse than a dog's, and she will compensate for all of Leon's rudeness to the noblewoman with 2 new dresses. The noblewoman is shocked that Martina agrees to dance with such scum as Leon. Martina mockingly turns to Leon, asking if he heard the accusations against him. She is a crazy princess, and will Liana have the courage to dance with her? Will our handsome man dare to dance with the crazy princess? In Leon's homeland, fighting women are like unruly horses, and only the bravest warriors can handle them. Leon believes he can handle Martina. He gives Martina a kiss on the hand. I think it will pass for a kiss of fidelity. The ball begins, and everyone is circling like butterflies among flowers. The guard reports to Mayfield in fear about his sister's antics, but Mayfield only laughs. This is not the first extravagant whim of his sister, the bloodthirsty princess. The wine flows like a river in Mayfield's glass. Mayfield knows the girl very well. He is no less crazy, and he is Martina's brother. Leon begins to dance gracefully with our heroine. Sympathy flares up between the heroes. They both despise aristocrats. Leon even wants to ask her for a favor as a token of gratitude. Martina is interested in what he wants to offer her. He offers her protection, his devotion, and is even ready to kill for her. Martina hints that she wouldn't mind giving up on killing her brother. Lena gets her into a dance and says that she doesn't mind killing her brother, but then she'll have to buy his life. Martina remembers him as a real thug. Martina finishes the dance and says goodbye to the hero. She is not interested in gruesome murders. But Martina doesn't give up. She wants to meet Leon alone. Leon is silent for a long time as he considers his answer. But for the first time in her life, Martina receives a negative answer. The action moves back to the palace. Martina asks Miel what's wrong with her and why her proposal was rejected. Martina is furious when Miel openly hints at her character. Leon left Martine only a note with an explanation. The egg that Lily is in begins to crack. Finally, the little evil decides to be born. The sacred beast wants to eat the energy from the pillars. Martina is happy. She overcame adversity to bring Lily into this world. Martina thinks that her baby is hungry and starts to coo at him. Miel thinks that Lily is even more bloodthirsty than Martina, and they argue like father and mother. Miel says that it is dangerous to hold the egg the way Martina does, and asks her to be careful. The egg trembles and begins to slowly crack before the eyes of the astonished people. Martina and Miel realize what an awkward situation they are in. Miel says this is the most exciting part, and the sacred beast is about to hatch. He is just like a real dad. Miel is very nervous. He orders the egg to be set to room temperature. Then, Miel orders aromatherapy, so that Lily remembers the smell of her mistress. Then, Miel suggests playing classical music on the violin for the child. Martina is amused by Miel's behavior, and thinks that he is just like a mother hen. Miel considers herself the villain's henchman and wants to protect everything she holds dear. Martina clearly likes her secretary. We ship him with her. In that life, Lily was born seriously ill. She lasted more than a day and died in her mother's arms. Martina believes that Leon is the one whose kiss is needed to keep Lily healthy. Martina decides to leave, and Miel asks her to come back quickly, because she might be late for the birth of the baby. Miel is very worried about Lily and Martina. He loves them both. The butler's torment begins. Miel believes that he should be a father to little Lily, not a mother. It seems he wants to raise the child together with Martina. The action moves to the Sequoia Hotel, but Liana is not there. Martine is told that her mercenary has gone to the cemetery for the nobility, the Perro Cemetery, and this is madness. Martina believes that Leon has reasons for rejecting her invitation, and the cemetery has something to do with it. It turns out that Leon's mother died, and today is the anniversary of her death. The translators are acting weird, and Leon is now Ryan, and his empire is shining, ruled by his stern father. Liana's, Ryan's mother, was a noblewoman from the Moran Empire and was very noble. Things were tense between the empires, but our hero's mother fell in love with his father, ran away from home, and gave birth to a child. Ryan's mother was not accepted by the aristocrats and was hated by everyone. Eventually, Ryan's mother died of depression, and our general comes to her grave every day. His mother's family wants nothing to do with the black god of war, and he is saddened by the thought of not seeing his mother again. Martina's voice makes Ryan distract himself from thoughts of war and other sad thoughts. Martina is glad that Ryan hasn't left yet, and she wants to catch him. Martina has a gift for a formidable and cold mercenary from the north. Ryan is very curious about what Martina brought him to stop him from being sad. When Ryan opens the box, his gaze is drawn to what's inside. Inside is a volume of poetry and a portrait of his mother. Ryan looks stunned. He doesn't know what Martina's kindness is about. Martina says she learned about his ancestry after doing a little research. Ryan looks happy that Martine managed to get everything related to his mother. Martina is having fun. She's a villain, she can do anything. Ryan is very grateful to Martina. Everything connected with his mother is important to him. Ryan doesn't know how he can thank Martina for such generosity. In the Shining Empire, his father's concubine and her children have a greater right to the throne than he does. His mother's family refuses to acknowledge Ryan Leon. All our Ryan excelled at was horse riding and swordsmanship. Ryan agrees to listen to Martina because her gift touches him. Martina is not interested in primitive things like murder. She offers Ryan to become his home, the master of his heart. Martina asks Ryan to harm those who dare to offend her, and will give Ryan more than the aristocrats. She will no longer allow Ryan to be a beast in the eyes of the aristocracy. Ryan feels like he's transported back to his joyless childhood. Ryan feels like he's seen a ray of light in his life of intrigue, the ray of hope that saved him from the darkness of everyday life. And the gray life is Martina. Is Martina ready to tame a wild beast for her own purposes? Martina thinks that she and Ryan deserve each other. Ryan thinks Martina is absolutely incredible. Martina wonders what Ryan wants to do now. Martina's fragile little hand ends up in Ryan's strong one. Martina's hand is very small, but Ryan's hand carefully removes the glove from hers. Ryan Shining joins our main character in his allegiance and gives her a kiss of allegiance. From now on, Martina is the home where our hero can return after the war. The system notifies Martina that Ryan has sworn allegiance to her, and the beast will soon hatch due to an excess of magical energy. Martina is perplexed at how quickly her beast hatched. The mercenary menacingly asks Martina why she does not accept his oath, and silence falls between them. But Martine has no time for Ryan. She wants to witness the birth of the magical beast. Ryan throws a coat over her. He's afraid she'll freeze. Martina is abrupt. She doesn't care whether she freezes or not. But Ryan is unwavering. He swore allegiance to her and is ready to freeze and carry her in his arms so that she can witness Lily's birth. He puts the heroine on a horse and warns her that the ride will not be the most pleasant. Martina is determined to witness Lily's birth, even if she freezes to death. Ryan appreciates Martina's determination. They go to the castle and are ready to withstand any tests. The heroes arrive at the Imperial Palace, reminiscent of the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg. Martina makes a reservation, saying that as soon as the child is born, she will inform him. Martina, the silly girl, tells him that she has a child. Imagine Ryan's reaction. He seems to be falling in love with her, and she's talking about the baby. Naturally, his male brain begins to realize that he is shocked that the first girl who approached him has a child. Ryan is ready to kill the father of his mistress's child. A good man. Ryan is horrified. He doesn't know that she meant a magical beast and thinks that Martina is married. The action moves to the princess's chambers, where Lily is expected to appear. Lily is about to be born and protect the country. Miel wants the first person to see Lily to be Martina, who everyone is looking for. Miel and the servants pray that the birth of the magical beast will be delayed. They want to wait for Martina, but Lily can't wait. Her eggshell is cracking epically. The heroes are in a panic. Now the magical beast will be born. Martina runs into the room, revealing her bloodthirsty nature, forgetting her goal of being kind. Martina's heart is simply unsettled by the appearance of Lily's magical beast. It is very difficult for a mother who has lost her child to forget the scene when Lily died. She does not want it to happen again. Martina is very worried whether the tragedy with Lily will happen again. Martina decides to help the baby be born. And here before us is a creature that looks like a cross between a pink rabbit and a bird with horns. Lily's first word brings joy to Martina. Martina thanks God that Lily was born healthy. At this time, we are shown the gloomy chambers of the Prince of Mayfield. Everything in his chambers testifies to the gloom and despotism of the ruler. Mayfield is also happy. Lily's magical brother has hatched too. This animal looks like a cat with wasp wings and ruby eyes. Mayfield is congratulated on the birth of his beast and informed that Martina has also given birth to a beast. Mayfield is formidable. The servant is uneasy about his antics. He knows the prince's character. Mayfield asks why his sister's beast wasn't poisoned and how the infection survived. Lily's magical beast is unaware of the intrigue and feeds on the magical energy of the kisses collected by Martina. From birth, magical animals have the intelligence of a 3-year-old child. Martina knows that the magical beast feeds on the kisses of the pillars, and that one kiss from Ryan is not enough. The girl decides to hire him as a bodyguard to get more kisses. But if Ryan doesn't travel, he won't become the black god of war, and his kiss will lose its power. Martina is very depressed. How will she get a huge number of kisses of loyalty from the pillars? Lily demands hugs and lots of kisses from her mother. Martina can't help but fall for those cute eyes. Martina is ready to do anything for her daughter, even move to another country. In the country of Martina, there is a flower called the lily, which blooms for about 30 years and is like a phoenix. That's why Martina decides to name the magical creature Lily. She wants her daughter to live a long and happy life. Miel and Louise watch what is happening. Louise is glad that the animal is healthy and eats so well, and wants to prepare a new portion of milk. Miel tells Martina that the little animal has a new brother, and that the nobles already know that sacred animals have been born. Martine can't wait to show the magical beast to the public. Lily innocently asks, like all children, whether Miel is her daddy or not. An epic silence falls between Miel and Martina. Miel blushes. The meaning of Lily's words sinks in. Miel, whom we feel sorry for, sadly says that he is not a father. Martina is a sadist. She teases Miel and his feelings. Miel decides to turn everything into a joke. He has always been lonely. He cheerfully tells Lily that he is her mother's slave and that she always makes fun of him. Martina asks the charming secretary not to teach Lily all sorts of things. Miel likes the name Lily and asks why the animal was named that. The little animal is lowered into her cozy cradle. My God, this is just an animal that is treated like a human. Miel checked all the feeders carefully, but did not find anything strange. Martina knows that Louise is unlikely to be faithful to her. It's not for nothing that they don't believe Louise. She poisoned Lily in her past life. Louise was bribed by Martina's brother, and she is a spy who decided to do anything for the title of a noblewoman. Martina believes that something changed Louise, and she did not follow the order. Miel suggests to Martina that she fire Louise if she is guilty of something. But Martina is afraid that Louise's dismissal will damage her reputation. Martina wants to make Lily a magical beast, but to do this she must be a good mother. The action of the manhwa moves to a gloomy kitchen, where poison is being prepared for Lily. Louise is ready to pour the contents of the poison into the cauldron, but Louise's hands waver. What decision will she make? Louise recalls how the servant tried to dissuade her from such a terrible act. But Louise decides to do as the prince tells her. She pours the substance into a bottle for Lily. Louise is ready to poison Lily, who suspects nothing. Lily's milk will be ready soon, and soon the poor thing will die. But Martina slams the book shut. She knows about Louise's treachery. Martina doubts Louise's loyalty and needs help with something. Louise feels uneasy from Martina's words. She's been exposed. Hooray! Louise wants to lull Martina's vigilance, but she is unlikely to succeed. Martina is seen through by Louise and orders her to drink poison. Louise is in a panic. Her cunning has been exposed, and her plan has failed. Martina unleashes her bloodthirstiness and asks Louise what she is so afraid of. That's it. Louise's days are numbered. She is forced to drink poisoned milk. Martina is waiting for an answer from her maid. The truth is about to be revealed. Suddenly, Miel introduces a pleasant-looking woman of about 50. Louise runs up to her, a pleasant woman. It's her mother. She is blind and is very grateful to Her Majesty that her eyes can be cured. Louise is surprised. All she did was cry because of her mother. Louise is even ready to poison the sacred beast to cure her blind mother. Martina scolds Louise, saying that she is a thief and also stole the ring to pay for the treatment. Louise is in a panic. She's going to be fired for stealing. I would cut off her hand altogether. Martina is a villain, and the whole kingdom knows it. But the kingdom doesn't know that Martina is also a mother and admires the girl's actions, ready to do anything to save her mother. Louise slips up and tells Martina everything about the poisoned milk. Louise says it's all her fault, but Martina tells her to go for a walk with her mother, since they haven't seen each other for a long time. Louise leaves with her sick mother. They haven't seen each other for a long time. Miel is surprised by Martina's magnanimous act. Usually, she killed without thinking. Martina jokes with Miel that he thinks she's a bitch. She cheerfully says that she has cunning eyes, and they just scream that she is a creature. Martina promises Miel that she will do many things that will surprise Miel. Martina leaves happily, waves of love radiating from her. But you can't fool Miel that easily. Miel is tormented by the question of what happened to Martina. He knows that the former Martina herself deceived and mercilessly destroyed everyone. Because of her character, Martina was dubbed by the people as a witch and a villain. But Miel is clearly a masochist. He likes girls with a mean personality. He believes motherhood has changed the royal villain. Miel's heart feels that something has happened that has changed his mistress. When the hour comes, the magical beast senses the danger threatening the kingdom. If the emperor is about to die, the beast leaves behind an egg. Only the emperor's legitimate heir can raise the beast. An heir who fails to grow an egg is considered not an heir. Martina and Mayfield's father has been ill for 2 years, and his sacred beast, sensing danger, laid 2 eggs. This is the first time that both children have been chosen as royal heirs. The royal parliament decided that whoever gave birth to the beast first would become the heir. Martina gets out of the carriage, and she and Miel arrive at the Parliament courtyard. Miel supports Mrs. Martina in every possible way. He is concerned about Lily's health and Martina's well-being. Martina will be at a council meeting for the first time, but she is not liked there because of her character. Martina knows that no one believed that she would raise a beast. Miel encourages Martina, saying that she will always be there. Martina is surprised at how much Miel treats her. Miel advises her to enter with a smile, and from a smile a rainbow will awaken in the world. Our gaze is met by the building of the Moran Empire Council. The Empire's eldest prince, Mayfield Moran, helped hatch the magical creature. Princess Martina Moran also helped hatch the sacred beast. According to tradition, the one who raised the magical beast inherits the throne. Chief Justice Matthew Douglas tries to decide who will inherit the throne, given that both raised magical beasts. Now the choice of the heir depends on the nobility. Also, His Majesty will have to decide. Before us are Isabel Morgan and Gardner Morgan, Emperor and Empress of the Moran Empire. Mayfield tells how nasty his sister is and that she is unworthy of the throne. Lily growls at him so that he doesn't dare speak badly about Martin. Her evil little brother bristles and growls at Lily. He looks like a cross between a rabbit and a wasp that is about to bite. Lily is ready to face another magical beast. Martina asks Mayfield how he will explain the attempt on Lily's life. She provides him with poisoned milk for Lily as proof of his guilt. Mayfield laughs at her, asking why she needs the bottle. Martina talks about the situation she found herself in because of Louise and the poisoned milk. Miasma comes out of the bottle, the remains of the poison with which they tried to poison Lily. Martina believes that the one who wanted to kill the beast is not the real king. Martina looks angrily at her brother. She knows that he will deny everything. The courtiers whisper among themselves, and the king orders everyone to be silent with a gesture. Gadner asks what his son has to say in his defense. He denies everything and believes that his magicians do not know how to make the potion. Martina is thinking about how she will be able to bring her brother to justice. Lily sits anxiously in her arms and senses her owner's mood. The prince's mage arrived to confirm that the potion was known only to him. The magician is a young man in a black hood. His face is almost invisible. Mayfield begins interrogating his mage. Mayfield wants to set up his magician in front of the others. He says that the potion is his doing, but he doesn't give away the prince. The magician is ready to give his life, just not to betray the prince. Suddenly, the flames flare up, and Lily and Martina look at the fire. The fire burns the magician, and everyone protects the royal couple. The courtiers run away from the fire, saving their lives. The magician, just like in the movies, burns alive, taking his master's name to the grave. In a matter of minutes, not a single piece of the magician remains. The magician turned into a charred ember. Mayfield started the fire and angrily tells his sister that he took revenge for her. Martina realizes that the prince eliminated the witness so that his secret would remain intact. Isabel stops Martina from accusing her father. The king is getting worse and worse. The emperor is worse. He needs to rest. Probably his evil brother is behind the poisoning of his majesty. Isabel decides that the question of succession will be resolved next month. We are shown the courtroom with its branching columns and wide vaults. Martina is the last one to leave with Lily. Mayfield stops her and asks if she can't see how similar they are. They are both cunning and clever, and even have eyes like rubies. Martina is thinking about something, wanting to say everything that her brother needs. Martina bravely tells him that if her brother doesn't like her eyes, he can gouge them out. Mayfield says that all the ladies listen to him, and the knights are ready to give their lives for him. Mayfield believes he is the next ruler of Moran. Mayfield wants to make gloves out of his sister and put her eyes in his crown. Martina bravely pushes away her brother, who was too close. She claims that he has always taken everything she wanted from her, but this time she will win. Mayfield would love to watch her beg for mercy. We are shown the capital of Moran, where carts are moving and life is in full swing. Miel and Martina leave the Parliament House with gloomy expressions on their faces. Martina remembers her former life. Martina will do everything to ensure that her life does not end like last time. Martina wants to prevent Lily's death and change her life. Martina decides to start a conversation with the silent Miel. Miel decides to cheer her up and makes a cute face at Lily. Martina wonders what's gotten into these two. Miel and Lily are glad they lifted her spirits. Lily asks Martina not to be upset about Mayfield, and they make faces to make it funny. Lily and Miel are worried. Something is wrong with Martina. She begins to sob, giant tears falling onto her skirts. Martina says she was scared and didn't know how to protect herself. But the girl is no longer afraid of anything. Martina's heart filled with love when she saw Lily. Lily swears to her that she will always be there. Lily decides to play the role of her mother's scarf because of her soft fur coat. Miel enjoys the sight of the two women he loves. Miel swears that he will always protect Martina. The action moves back 10 years. Martina and Mayfield dine at a decorated table. Their dinner takes place in a silent atmosphere. Miel decides to give them a piece of cake or jelly. Miel approaches Martina, who is eating deliciously. Martina turns her attention to the timid Miel. She tells Miel that something is beautiful, and he didn't hear her. Martina compliments him on his eyes, which resemble the greenery in a garden. Mayfield thinks that Martina's mentor, who taught her expressions, is just a nobody. Miel calmly listens to the prince and princess's quarrel. Martina asks Miel not to pay attention to the prince, who is a louse to her. Mayfield is deeply offended to the tips of his fingers. Miel brings His Highness the water he asked for, but Mayfield takes the glass of water and pours it out. And then Mayfield breaks a cup. Miel asks if the prince is hurt, but he is arrogant. He has many servants who will buy him more. Miel feels uneasy about the prince's arrogance. Mayfield orders Miel's arms and legs to be broken. The guards immediately run into the room at the prince's command. Miel is grabbed and swept into an armful. Miel's long legs are broken first. Prince Mayfield sadistically watches Miel's torment. A sadistic grin touches the prince's haughty face. Miel's fingers are broken one after another. He lies on the floor. Now Miel is crippled. They start breaking Miel's second arm, but Princess Martina comes to Miel's defense. Martina is indignant. How dare her brother touch her beloved butler? Mayfield believes that this is Miel's punishment for breaking the Ashka, and Martina is defending Miel. Mayfield doesn't understand why Martina contradicts him because of which servant. Martina says that even if Miel is a weed to him, she chose him herself. Martina menacingly asks Miel if he would like to be her servant. She tells him that she will protect him if he agrees. Miel reaches out his hands to her and agrees. This is how they became lovers and friends. Peace is concluded between the heroes. The action moves to the palace. The heroine wants to hang Mayfield. Miel is silent and doesn't know what to say. He is grateful to our heroine for saving him. Martina assures him that the doctor will cure him. Martina commands, and Miel must obey. Miel thinks that he will wear glasses, so that only Martina can see his eyes. Martina feels awkward about his speech. She assures him that she will make Miel work until he drops. In the present, Miel asks what the princess will do with the prince. According to his research, mid-level mages made a contract with the prince, and if Martina made a contract with a higher-level mage, Martina believes that she will find a higher-level magician to assist her. But Martina was so confident in her powers that she decided not to look for a magician. We are shown the local Everest. She will look for the one who will become a legendary magician. The meeting with the legendary magician is just beginning. A few days later, Martina is looking for Lily. Martina had already looked everywhere for Lily. Lily jumps out of the closet right at her mother. Martina also wants to play with Lily, but she can't. Martina wants to bring even more toys. Lily wants more toys. Martina says that if she signs a contract with the magician, then nothing will happen to her. Miel wishes her success, watching her with a smile. Lily notices something new. Lily asks him if he wants to go with his mother. Miel looks at her every time as if he doesn't see her. But for Miel, helping the girl is a great happiness. Miel invites Lily to draw. The action moves to a crowded hotel. Martine is informed that the mercenary is currently absent. Martina decides to go to the meeting place with the mercenary. Ryan's sudden disappearance alarmed Martina. Martina thinks he took the situation with the child to heart. Martina decides to find Ryan later. The mage in question, Phoenix, was born a commoner in his youth. In the books, Phoenix wrote that he would be expelled from the Tower of Mages. The action moves to the Magic Tower, which is similar to Big Ben. The director yells at Phoenix. Phoenix was supposed to seal the fire dragon in a jar, but instead of a dragon, he has a fly sealed away. How can trash like Phoenix be trained in the tower? Phoenix denies that anyone replaced his work. The director doesn't believe Phoenix that his job has been replaced. The nobles are actively discussing Phoenix. The nobles say that why should they steal the things of a commoner? The nobles mock Phoenix. How dare he compare himself to them? To the elite. The director tells Phoenix that they agreed that one mistake, and that's it. As of today, Phoenix is no longer a member of the tower. Phoenix decides that he will study magic anyway. Phoenix decided to create magic that would conquer the world. The director orders him to leave the tower. Suddenly, the door opens. A certain maid whispers something in the director's ear. The director freezes in shock, sweat running down his face. He asks Phoenix to stay. A request came from a certain guest. A certain guest wants to become a sponsor of Phoenix Magic. The director insists that Phoenix watch his language and not dare to offend her. Phoenix wonders who the guest is. Phoenix looks ahead in amazement. The guest who sponsors Phoenix is Martina herself, the princess of the empire. Martina and Phoenix are introduced to each other. The director warns Martina that Phoenix has stolen the noble's belongings and broken the tower's laws 3 times. Phoenix finds the tower director's accusations funny. Phoenix mockingly says that he stole the aristocrat's homework, but the point of it was only to get 23 points. The principal sternly reprimands Phoenix. He has no right to belittle other students. In his past life, at this moment, Phoenix was expelled from the tower. He returned to his village and lived like a commoner. In the village, Phoenix began to practice magic without a teacher. Magic, in turn, never failed him. We are shown the distant future of Phoenix. The Phoenix revealed to the world charms that were previously unknown. Because of this, Phoenix was called back to the tower. Martina noticed him because of the Phoenix's magic. Martina decides to talk to Phoenix alone. The director asks Phoenix to watch his words. The director yells at Phoenix to watch his words. The heroes are left alone. Silence hangs between them. Phoenix wonders what Martina will say. Martina wants to cover all expenses in the tower. Phoenix can rely on her. Martin doesn't care about Phoenix's words. She wants to know one thing. Does Phoenix agree to her becoming his sponsor? Phoenix considers Martina's proposal thoughtfully. Martina doesn't know what Phoenix will answer her. Phoenix suddenly begins to undress. Martina reacts correctly right away. She doesn't start relationships with students. Phoenix shows her a pretty body with a lot of scars. Martina is amazed. I wonder what? By the scars or the half-naked guy? Phoenix says that he was beaten by a viscount who wanted a servant, a magician. Phoenix stood out from the other commoners, and the aristocrat took it out on him. He promised to finance his service, but instead beat him. Phoenix wants to ask Martina something. Cutie Phoenix asks if Martina is really going to hit him too. It seems that Phoenix loves pain and is a masochist. Martina realizes that Phoenix is afraid to trust her. The Phoenix looks like a starving cat. Martina decides to tame Phoenix using a fake mouse. Martina promises him that she will finance Phoenix for a whole year. But there is one condition. Phoenix must create a heat source. Phoenix is amazed. Martina conducted an investigation to obtain Phoenix's kiss of loyalty. Martina says many residents are in need of warmth right now. Martina asks him to make a source of heat for the country's inhabitants. Well, what can our Phoenix say to the charming Martina? Phoenix is all excited and asks when he can start researching. For Phoenix, everything seems like a trifle. Phoenix is the worst student in the tower, and he wants to stay with Martina. Phoenix had heard that there was such a thing as the kiss of loyalty. Phoenix asks Martina for permission to kiss her. To Martina, Phoenix is like a little white cat. Martina gets the kiss of fidelity much faster. Phoenix becomes another favorite of Martina's. This manhwa is just a harem, where the girl easily gets kisses from cool guys. But suddenly, something bad happens. The system reports that Phoenix is unfaithful to Martina. Phoenix is a brilliant liar, but our heroine does not give up and goes towards her goal. Phoenix asks her if he can get some research materials. Suddenly, a muscular hand grabs Phoenix by the collar. Ryan shows up, and we have a fight brewing between the off-screen characters. Martina is surprised where Ryan went when she was looking for him. Ryan warns her that Phoenix is dangerous and a fight ensues. Ryan wants to eliminate Phoenix. How terrible he is when he is jealous. Ryan is ready to kill Phoenix in a second if Martina orders it. Phoenix is ready to fight Ryan. He is casting some kind of spell. Martine is curious to see if Ryan can see Phoenix's potential. Could their brawl be a connection between the pillars of the nation? Or they have an instinctive wariness of predators. Ryan draws his sword, moving like a cheetah ready to tear its prey apart. Phoenix didn't even notice Ryan attacking him. 2 hot manhwa guys stared at her, ready to kill each other for Martina. Martina appeals to their reason, that they are her vassals, and fighting is forbidden. Phoenix apologizes. He didn't mean to offend her. Martina wants to talk to the professor about sponsorship. Martine wonders if Phoenix needs anything else, but he cheerfully tells her that he doesn't need anything. Martina looks at Ryan. Poor Ryan, he looks like an abandoned puppy. I would take him home. Martina asks Ryan to wait for her by the carriage. Phoenix defeated Ryan in a fight. The door slams in our charming Ryan's face. Since then, Ryan began to hate Phoenix. Ryan is hurt that Martina is angry with him. But Ryan wanted the best, to eliminate the danger near Martina. Ryan went crazy when he saw Phoenix. It's jealousy, my dear. Ryan started dreaming about Martin. Guys, this is serious. Martina is going somewhere and seems to sense Ryan. Ryan dreams of the life Martina asked him to change. Ryan can't comprehend this. He doesn't know that Martina made a deal to save Lily. Ryan is in a lot of pain, and he feels Martina's emotions. Perhaps his visions of Martina's past are the Shinning's royal blood, their cursed power. Ryan wanted to distance himself from Martina by taking on a large number of missions. But even in his soul, thoughts of Martin haunt him. Our hero can't get Martina out of his head at all. Martina has agreed on everything with the professor and is leaving the tower. Martina's day was not wasted. She met the legendary magician. But Martina won't be left alone just like that. Ryan appears before her, thirsting for answers to his mental torment. Martina asks him to control himself because of the cursed blood. But Ryan doesn't want to accept his position as a watchdog. It seems Ryan wants something more from Martina. He wishes to have Martina's name on his mighty body. Ryan looks upset. Martina has no choice. Martina decides to use lipstick to write the name. He abruptly grabs her hand. Ryan asks her not to wear lipstick. Martine feels like Ryan is not well. The mark the girl will put on him is a sign that he will not become a monster. Their hands are shaking. It's time to make the mark. Martina is in pain and shocked by what he is doing. But Ryan is just as shocked as she is. Ryan lost control and apologizes for it. Ryan realizes that he is turning into a beast. Ryan can't afford to overindulge. Martina decides to numb Ryan's pain. Martina decides to mark him. She picks a rose for this. Only a rose can cause more pain to a young man. In short, we're planning a free bloody autograph giveaway. Ryan bares his muscular chest, revealing bulging muscles like Conan the Barbarian. He's a Martina fan and wants a bloody autograph on his neck. Martina decides to sign an autograph. So she's like a rocker signing autographs for fans. Martina confidently writes her name on Ryan's chest with a thorny rose. I can imagine Ryan is in a lot of pain. But he is a masochist, and on his muscular chest, there appears an inscription of blood flowing down the muscles. Martina asks why he doesn't shout, but he squeezes her hands in a gesture of gratitude. Because he deserves it, but he doesn't have to endure the pain. Ryan takes her hand, covered in rose thorn marks, in his calloused hands. As long as Ryan breathes, he'll let her get hurt. Martina enjoys Ryan licking the blood from her slender fingertips. But with each kiss, the energy from them decreases. This rule was introduced by the sacred beast so that Martina would choose a dad for Lily. Martina has something in store for Ryan. This is her personal invitation to the palace if Ryan wants to visit. Ryan can't expect anything more because Martina needs a knight, not a madman. Martina's graceful foot lands on the shaky bottom of the stroller. Martina says goodbye to her crazy fan. Ryan is happy. The dog is happy that he got an autograph, some kind of masochist. Ryan gives the card a long look. Now Martina will always be by his side. Martina, like everyone else, thinks this is all strange. His determined and gloomy face will remain in her memory forever. There are many invitations to the palace prepared for Ryan. Martina found herself caught between two fires. Hey, what about the butler? The charmer? He's also the crush of the Manhwa. Is a fight between a flying cat and an enraged dog really about to happen? Martina wants to raise Lily in peace, not watch the crouching tiger and the hidden dragon. The action moves to the official office of the Imperial Palace. Miel tells us the news. The cutie of the Manhwa, Lily, has fallen ill. This news shakes Martina to the core. Miel opens the door to Lily's room wide. Martina is worried about what happened to Lily. Lily has only drunk milk today, and her tiny belly is swollen. Lily is in real pain. Her tummy feels like a balloon. Martina is upset. What will happen to Lily now? Martina will never leave the sacred beast to die. She will not repeat the tragedy that happened. Lily begs her to come back as soon as possible. It's worse than Martina thought. Miel claims she drank milk that he personally tested. We all hope that Lily's troubles are not the work of Martina's evil brother. Perhaps there are traces of magic on Lily. Perhaps Mayfield hired another magician or bribed the servants to poison Lily. Miel encourages Martina to take a deep breath and calm down. Martina doesn't believe his determined look. Miel spent the whole day drawing with Lily. There couldn't be anything suspicious. They freeze in the pose of two lovers. Martina is beside herself. Is Lily really going to die? Martina finally calmed down. She is also the princess of the Moran Empire. She will be able to protect Lily. Miel reassures her that they can protect Lily together. The sacred beast will not be healed by a human doctor. As soon as she gets better, Dad and Mom will visit her. But Martina wants warmth, male warmth, and strong hugs from Miel. Can a butler resist the charms of his beloved? But they cannot be together. They are a princess and a servant. Martina doesn't notice the butler's feelings at all. Miel can only deny everything. Suddenly, a servant appears with some news for Martina and Miel. The Empress has arrived and wishes to see Martina, the maid reports. Dark shadows of suspicion crept into Martina's soul. Why did her mother want to see her now? Martina believes that Miel will be able to look after Lily, but Miel seems devastated by Martina's refusal. Miel will sort everything out, but the letter to Phoenix must be delivered immediately. Martina's fiery hair remains on Miel's green frock coat, proof of their closeness. Miel will never forget how Martina was a fragile girl, only with him. The action takes place in the Empress's chambers. Martina asks if everything is well with the Emperor. Her mother is simply silent, and the silence seems like an eternity. She remembers her daughter and asks her to sit with her. Martina has a strained relationship with her mother. The mother hated Martina and even visited her once in prison. But the mother's voice was weak and trembling. A sad tear rolled down the Empress's cheek at the sight of her daughter. During her wanderings, news about her mother reached Martina. According to local residents, the Empress could not bear the fate of her daughter and died. The death of her mother in Martina's arms. The action moves to the present, where the Empress asks Martina not to regret anything. The Empress cannot afford to take the side of her daughter or brother in their struggle for the throne. Martina doesn't want to listen to anything. She's tired of her mother's indifference, but the Empress begs Martina not to leave. She tries to explain to Martina that Mayfield is still the same brother, that he wants Martina to be happy. She asks her not to go against the family, but Martina is ready to kill her brother if he touches her. The Empress is surprised. It is definitely her daughter in front of her. According to the Empress, Prince Ryan will visit their palace next month, but as a prince, not as a vagabond. Martina is shocked. Ryan wants to enter into a political marriage with her. The dispute between the Moran and Shining empires has been going on for many years, and both nations dislike each other. We remember Ryan's mother, who was hated at court because of her racism. Martina is not ready to become the new empress of the Shonings, Hitnings. The mother makes excuses. How can she hurt her daughter? According to the Empress, our Ryan is noble and elegant, the best passion for Martina. But Martina doesn't think so. She's against marriage. Martina is worried about what will happen to the sacred beast if she marries Ryan. Her mother is shocked. Martina is very worried about Lily. Martina leaves the Empress. She is worried about Lily. The Empress is left completely alone. She will never be able to understand her daughter. Oh yes, Martina's mother is the one who tried to poison Lily. The Empress is worried. She can only watch her daughter and son quarrel. The maid promises Martina's mother that she will take care of her health. Lily is getting worse and worse. But Martina had already sent for a magician to heal the poor thing. Lily asks for more hugs. She feels better when hugged by Martina. Martina swears that she will not go anywhere and will not leave Lily. Night falls. The lights go out in the palace with its columns and windows. Martina spends the whole night with Lily and does not leave her side. Miel carefully covers Martina. They really are like Mom and Dad for Lily. To hell with all these Ryans and Phoenixes. Martina can't trust magicians. Suddenly her brother will hire one. Miel assures her that he has already sent for Phoenix, and the fastest horse is sending a letter to him. Lily is snoring peacefully in Martina's arms, having a wonderful dream. Faithful Linny delivered the princess's letter, but Phoenix said nothing. Linny asks Martina to look out the window. Martina thinks that Phoenix will bombard the palace and climb through the window. A bright ball lightning cuts through the sky with a roar. Martina watches the flash of fireworks outside the window, cutting through the night gloom. Lily wakes up. What sound dared to disturb her? The bright fireworks woke everyone up, and Martina and Lily watched them. A pair of beams from the fireworks formed a funny kitten's face. But Martine and Lily think that Lily is impersonating the fireworks. Martina realizes that it was Phoenix who created the fireworks. The fireworks are arranged in the shape of strange animal faces. Lily is happy. She is not alone anymore. Soon, according to Martina, Lily will fly to heaven. Martina is happy. Lily is finally getting better. One of the fireworks opened the sky and formed the letters of the princess's name. Phoenix believes that his antics will please the princess, but sadness and melancholy eat away at Phoenix from the inside. Phoenix believes that the gifts have reached Her Majesty's ears. In order for the magical test to go well, it is necessary to please Her Majesty. Phoenix is shocked. He did not expect who the princess's child was. Lily is happy to meet Phoenix, and here he is. Lily wonders if Phoenix painted fireworks. Phoenix had never seen sacred beasts so close in his life. Martina tells Phoenix what happened to Lily. Phoenix is wary. Will he be able to cure Lily? It is dangerous. Martina believes in Phoenix because he will become the true pinnacle of magic. All hope of healing Lily now lies with Phoenix. But can our hero cope with Lily's illness? Sweat runs down Phoenix's sweet face in a stream. He is unsure of his abilities. He has such a serious mission ahead of him, to heal Lily. Phoenix begins to work his magic on Lily's tummy. Lily is upset, but Phoenix finishes his job in a second. Phoenix wonders how a little girl like Lily can protect an entire country. He shares his shock with Martina. Great magic flows through Lily. Lily's stomach hurts because some of her magic was undigested. Martina suspects that the magic from Ryan's kiss was too much and that Lily simply has an excess of magic. Martina recalls that with the second and subsequent kisses, the energy decreases to 50%. Phoenix advises Lily to take up sports, as she spends all her time sitting in Martina's arms. Martina understands that she shouldn't treat Lily like this, and that it's her fault. Miel believes that Lily is always in danger. Phoenix gives the servant a contemptuous and arrogant look. Martina admits that she is at fault, and that she is overprotective of Lily. Phoenix creates lightning, and he is ready to solve the problem with Lily. Phoenix tries to solve the magic pattern. There is no spell that Phoenix cannot solve. Phoenix's gray hair fluttered, and a smirk touched his lips. A strong gust of wind literally blows Miel and Martina off their feet. A minute later, Lily is sitting as if nothing had happened. There was no space left in the swollen belly. Lily flaps her little wings. Lily is very grateful to Martina for her healing. Martina surrounds Lily with care. She will lead an active lifestyle with Lily. Lily also credits Phoenix for her healing. Phoenix slyly asks Lily what he should call Martina if he is Lily's little brother. Phoenix thinks he should call Martina sister. Martina understands Phoenix's joke, a subtle smile touching her face. But Miel and Linny are wary. They don't share Lily's enthusiasm. Miel is like a stone block. He studies Phoenix, his rival, with his gaze for a long time. Yes, it is jealousy. Linny notices Miel's feelings and thinks about how to calm him down. Linny tells Martine that it's time for Phoenix to go to the mage's tower. It is very quiet and silent in the tower, like in a crypt. Martine wonders what reward Phoenix wants for healing Lily. Phoenix asks Martin for permission to call her sister in private. Martina stops abruptly, her footsteps echoing throughout the cathedral. Martina abruptly moves towards Phoenix. She is silent. Martina stops in front of Phoenix, who is waiting for her answer. Martina believes that Phoenix's thoughts are easy to read. She asks him in a whisper to show her his results. She reminds Phoenix of his place at court. There is a pause and silence between our heroes. Martina asks Phoenix to rest better and calls him brother. Phoenix is amazed. He is troubled by Martina's duality. However, Phoenix got what he wanted. Linny asks Phoenix to keep up with her. Phoenix uses his charisma to find out everything about Martina, but she remains silent. Linny promises that as soon as she finds out anything, she will tell Martin Phoenix about it. In the past, Linny was the only female guardian. The other men wanted to seduce Martina. They were pestering Martina, and Linny couldn't stand it. Linny fought against 3, but when she was about to give up, a brand new sword of silver steel pierced the heavens and fell into Linny's hands. The one who threw Linny's sword was our young princess. Martina asked Linny in a kind tone for one thing, to clear all this rubbish from the road. Time passes, and Martina does not leave Lily's side during her walks with her. Lily is liked by absolutely everyone who sees her. There is less and less disgust in the looks of the aristocrats. It's time to bring Lily out into society. Let the people of Moran know who Martina's mysterious child is, and who will have the courage to stand by the princess's side. Martina is planning to throw a banquet to celebrate Lily's birthday. Of course, the nobles are different factions, and, given Martina's reputation, not everyone will side with her. 3 types of invitations were prepared for this occasion. White envelope, similar for all nobles. It is intended for those nobles who are villains. Also, A white envelope is sent to ordinary people who have changed their minds about the princess. The second is a black envelope with a thread in it, familiar to Martine in the past. So Martina decided to take the side of the frightened nobles, as before. Among those who turned down the invitations were Mayfield's faithful dogs. The third letter is a kind of bribe. Those who accept the bribe can easily be lured to their side and made into Martina's spies. But those who rejected Martina's invitations are her enemies and her brother's supporters. After 3 rounds, it will be clear to Martina who is on her side and who is not. Martina's next task will be to kill those who are not on her side. The game has begun. Martina is also looking for someone who would not only deliver the letters personally, but also take care of her. Martina is looking for a daredevil who would record all the information and be willing to take risks. Guess who Martina chose as the scapegoat? That's right. This desperate Mexican for an important matter turned out to be our faithful Miel. Martina is surprised that Miel is working despite the fever. Martina thinks that Miel should rest, but Miel doesn't move or leave. He says he has to help her. Miel can barely stand on her feet, but she walks unsteadily towards her. He warns the heroine that he could infect her. She places her graceful hand on his wet forehead. Miel's condition may improve if he goes to bed and sleeps. A romantic pause hangs between them. Miel asks Martina not to treat the servants like that. Martina reminds him that she, the princess, is a villain. Miel asks her not to be too kind to him. He believes that she might be misunderstood if she expects good things from the servants. It dawns on Martina that Miel is a guy after all. She reminds him that these are her servants, and she has the right to deal with them as she pleases. Miel can't contain herself anymore. He asks Martina not to leave, because she has him. Miel asks not to waste precious time on yourself. Martina doesn't even know what to say. The door slams shut in front of Martina with a deafening bang. Matilda can't believe she's been thrown out the door. Miel's chambers are very spacious and beautiful. Miel can't believe he lost control of himself. His head is full of thoughts that shouldn't be there. Miel has only one thought, that Martina should belong to him. But all that is with him is longing for her. The action moves to the residence of the Chief Justice. Martina is already expected in the courtroom, which she is informed about. Martina is led through the spacious Greek architecture. Martina never thought she would end up in front of a judge. The judge is distinguished by his masochistic nature. But Martina convinces Lily that everything will be fine. Chief Justice Matthew Douglas always separated good from evil and was a guardian of the law. In his past life, it was his hammer that dispatched a bunch of criminals. But in a past life, it was Martina who was sentenced to exile by this hammer. Matthew awaits his new victim for righteous judgment. He rejected as many as 3 letters from the future Empress Martina. The action moves to Matthew's chambers. Matthew is honored to host Martina. Martina introduces him to her daughter, Lily. Matthew reminds Martine that it is dangerous for the sacred beast to be outside the castle. But Martina is steadfast. She has decided that everything will be fine. Matthew is only surprised and submits to her will. Martina asks him directly why he refused to come to Lily's birthday party. Matthew was in poor health and didn't want to ruin everything. Martina flatters him, but Matthew believes that he is unworthy of her flattery. Matthew's words make Martina think. Martina made up her mind. She couldn't stay here any longer. Martina wants to get some fresh air, but Lily is too small. In general, they decide to leave Lily with Matthew, but he is against it. But Martina threateningly asks if he will refuse the princess's request. Martina goes out onto the balcony and decides to rest a little. Martina's complaint about the stuffiness was just a game. He and Lily had planned everything out from the very beginning. In a past life, Martina's brother sentenced her to hang. But in her past life, the judge stood up for her. During her exile, she passed by the village. Someone was playing football before she came. Martina looks at what is happening now. A woman asks the children to come to her. Otherwise, Matthew will get angry. The children continue their game happily. They know that Matthew loves them. Although Matthew is a strict nobleman, he dotes on children. Lily remembers that Martina asked her to be herself. Lily was surprised. Did Matthew really not like her? Lily asks him to pat her on the head if he likes her. Matthew believes that the magical beast is kind and honest. Matthew moves closer to Lily, closer and closer, closing the distance between them. His calloused hand is about to touch her soft fur. Lily asks him not to bother her and puts her arm under his. Matthew is pleased. Her head is very soft, like a pillow. Matthew believes that the rumors about the magical beast's fluffiness are true. Martina decides to explain her goals to us. Martina believes that the judge's sympathy for Lily could work to her advantage. Martina has no intention of losing her succession to the throne. Martina asks Lily to say goodbye to her grandfather, the judge. Douglas considers Lily and Martina's connection to be very genuine. The carriage quickly rolls away into the distance. The maid wants to wash Douglas's clothes, but he asks her to roll Lily's wool into a ball for him. According to the servants, he is crazy about Lily. The action moves to the imperial palace, rising majestically against the backdrop of the sunset. Martina's faithful maid approaches her. The Empress and Emperor wish Martina to join them for dinner. Martine wonders if Mayfield is invited. His Majesty would like to have a family dinner. But Martina doesn't like all this. She asks Linny to take care of Lily, because she will return late. Martina is haunted by a strange thought about family dinner. Martina thinks Mayfield is up to something. For Martina, her home is a living hell. Gardner Moran was a cold and calculating politician who married the heroine's mother without ever seeing her. Louise Moran, on the other hand, was a shy noblewoman. Her heart longed for love, but all she received was her husband's indifference. Louise studied etiquette in the hope of attracting the emperor's attention and raised her children with strictness. It's funny that Mayfield was close to Martina at this time. Martina studied from morning until night, and only Mayfield supported her. Mayfield wanted to take Martina for a walk, seeing her studying. Mother allows it, but demands that they finish reading the history of the kingdom. Mayfield and Martina leave the library and go out into the courtyard. We are shown a gigantic paradise for book lovers, a large library. Martina and Mayfield enter it. Martin knows that his brother's passion is reading, and he doesn't like to play with Martina. Mayfield asks Martina to be quiet, and he will play with her. They decide to play hide and seek. Their mother didn't allow them to play, so the brother looked for any excuse. Because of his love for reading, he hides a note in a book, hides it on a shelf, and finds the answer to it in books. So Mayfield offers to tell her fortune using a book. Martine was always curious why Mayfield was her older brother. Mayfield and Martina begin to argue about who they are to each other. Martina wonders why her brother, if he is the older one, is not kind, but always offends her. Mayfield responds that she is also mean. They quarrel, and Martina wants to go to her mother. Mayfield wants to buy her a dress to calm her down. He decides to tell his sister's fortune using the book Blood and Power. Martina believes that if she doesn't find the book, she's lost. She searches diligently for the book, but to no avail. Martine wants to beat Mayfield at least once. Martina's attention is drawn to a book on the shelf. Martina wants to get the book, but it is too high. Martina stands on tiptoe. She decides to reach for the book. Her brother is already behind her and asks if she needs help. Martina doesn't want this. She knows her brother did it on purpose. They are drawn together to the same book. Mayfield warns her that if she asks, she will never get help from him. But Martina is too angry with Mayfield. Mayfield suggests that she admit defeat. In the end, they never finished that game. Martina did not give up and did not ask him for help. But their mother then punished them very severely, ordering them to rewrite the damaged book. Martina wonders what he wrote there, but she has no time to think. She has to meet her family. Of the family members, Mayfield and her father appear before her. Mayfield doesn't hold back his angry looks at her. Martina calmly walks into the chambers, pretending that everything is normal. The Emperor is pleased that Martina has become friendlier towards everyone. Martina tells him that it is because of the sacred beast. He claims that he has every right to be proud of his daughter. But Martina knows that behind the Emperor's smile, there is a mask of friendliness. He is worried about his position among the nobility. When Mayfield unfairly blamed Martina for everything, no one stood up for her. Mayfield and his mother were used to gain power in the southern islands. Martina and Mayfield were needed by their father like puppets. But then they were abandoned, and that's why Martina and Mayfield grew up angry. Martina's father definitely wants something. He nervously taps the table, wanting to say something. He asks his daughter about Ryan's intentions to marry her. But Martina does nothing but prepare for the sacred beast. Now Martina understands everything that the king wants to tell her. Martina proudly declares to her father that she does not intend to marry. Her brother shushes Martina skeptically. In his opinion, the union between Martina and Ryan will strengthen the power of the state. He tries to tease his sister that she gave up and missed the opportunity, but nothing happens. According to the Emperor, there are 4 heirs to the Shining Empire. The father has already decided everything for his daughter. He takes the golden bell and orders his wife to come in. Someone's graceful foot steps carefully across the floor. Martina is horrified by what she saw. Before her is her mother, who has brought sacred animals in the guise of children. She believes that the sacred beast is now docile, and Martina will agree to everything. Martina doesn't know what happened to Lily, but she understands one thing. She is being blackmailed with Lily's help. Now Lily and her brother are obedient dolls, and Martina and Mayfield must obey their father. The Empress will treat the sacred beasts as her grandchildren. The dark-haired boy with cute ears is named Siegfried, like in the opera about the Nibelungs. Martina notices that the children don't react to anything. They are like dolls. Martine wonders if Mayfield knew about this. But Mayfield, like her, is furious at what was done to the beast. Martine wants to turn everything to her advantage. Martina says that since her mother has taken charge of everything, she can rest assured. Martina believes that this is the first time that animals have been turned into people, and everything needs to be told to the people. Martina tries to talk to her brother using gestures. Mayfield and Martina's main task is to protect animals. In this, they are similar. Martina believes that her brother will understand her signal of danger. Mayfield says, with a cavalier attitude, that everyone should know about it. He supports his sister in telling the people everything. He teases Martina that she will be the first to address the people. But hard times came for Martina. Mayfield's position before the king is no better. The Emperor demands that they both do what they must. The Emperor reminds them that Mayfield and Martina must devote themselves entirely to the Empire. Heroes must even shed their blood for the Empire. After dinner, all our heroes walk along the corridors of the palace. It was as if cheerful Lily had been replaced, and she had become a doll. Martina decided to talk to her, but all attempts were in vain. Lily is like a ghost and a silent puppet. Mayfield thinks it's all a matter of black magic. Martina decides to talk to her brother. They are standing on the balcony in the middle of an autumn evening and drinking aromatic wine. Today reminded Martina of her childhood. Mayfield sarcastically remarks that he is surprised that she remembers her childhood with him. Martina believes that her brother would not have wanted to talk to her if he had not seen the signal. Mayfield realizes everything. Martina wants to talk about the hostages in the persons of Siegfried and Lily. Martina believes that her fate and that of her brother are no different. It's just like the situation with the nobles in the past. The Emperor promised not to touch anyone, but he himself quietly gathered an army. To weaken the nobles' defense, he sent his own children as hostages. According to Mayfield's recollections, they were kept in a stable like cattle. Some noblemen got drunk and showed up at the stables to take the children. All Mayfield could do was cut him with a piece of a horseshoe as he ran away from them. Martina asks him if he remembers his awkward moments. Mayfield then contracted malaria and nearly died. Martina and Mayfield then look like a couple of abandoned dogs. But nevertheless, they were close to each other. Mayfield recalled that their father later believed his children were dead. Martina thinks he was unlucky that both children survived. Martina and Mayfield finish drinking the fine wine of the Morin Empire. Mayfield realizes that Martina is asking him to help with the animals. Mayfield is curious what he will get in return if he helps Martina. Martina takes a sip of wine, which flows like a river. She believes that Mayfield is the only one she can rely on. Mayfield grabs her by the throat sharply, and his unblinking gaze lands on her. Martina asks him what he wants. Mayfield decides to name his price. He demands that Martina give him the Kalan Empire, which is under her control. Martina agrees to everything. Martina will be looking forward to the animals' freedom. Mayfield congratulates her on being a family again. The action moves again to the Tower of Mages. Martine is forced to trust Mayfield to save Lily. Martina hasn't decided yet what to do about the marriage. Suddenly, Martina's eyes are met with an unpleasant sight. A battered and wounded Miel is in the care of Linny and her maid. Martine is told that our Miel was wounded while defending the animals. Miel thinks it was his mistake to save the animals. Martina doesn't dare to punish Miel. Martina wants to look at Miel's wounds. Miel's wounds are too deep. Miel asks Martina not to be so careless when touching the guy. But Martina doesn't listen to Miel. She's seen men's bodies before. Imagine how Miel reacted. Miel asks Martina not to worry about him. Martina tells what trap the Emperor set for her. She says they had to team up with Mayfield. Miel is horrified that Martina turned to her brother for help. Miel clicks her tongue in irritation. Miel can't believe what Martina said and thinks the problem is his weakness. Martina is stupid. She doesn't understand Miel's feelings. Miel's mental anguish begins, that he is hopeless, cannot protect anyone, and so on. Miel believes that he could have done something, unlike Phoenix and Ryan. Martina brings our hero to his senses by giving him a loud slap in the face. Martina doesn't want to hear anything like that. She knows that Miel is ready to give his life for her. Miel is stunned by Martina's speech, and a mark from her palm is visible on his cheek. Miel considers himself weak, that he is powerless in the face of the heroine's problems. He wishes Martina to have a quick rest and leaves. Martina sees the torment of Miel's soul and decides to help him. Martina doesn't know how to help Miel. Miel is already useful to her. He always needed her when they were children. Martina and Miel were children who had been friends since childhood. Miel gets it for uttering Mayfield's name in front of the princess. Miel asks her not to be angry and to tell her story. Miel knew many stories and was always on the heroine's side. They were happy, just Mel and Martina. We are shown the dark and gloomy chambers of the Empress. She watches over the sacred animals. The sacred beasts are clearly dreaming of something. The Empress wonders if her husband will come and look at them. But the Emperor is not interested in anything at all. The Empress asks the Emperor to pay attention to what is happening around. But the Emperor doesn't care about anything. He accuses the Empress of raising ignoramuses. She denies her guilt. After all, the children were always obstinate. The Emperor orders the woman not to disgrace their family. A few days later, Ryan's brother arrived with an entourage. He arrived at the Moran Empire at full speed. His name was Nosa Shiksu, and he was Ryan's brother. Martina thinks that Nosa is completely different from his brother. Martina doesn't know where Ryan, whom she also invited, is running. That evening, her father threw a lavish reception. Nosa invited the heroine to a personal meeting, which is rather strange. But this even plays into the hands of our heroine. They start talking about all sorts of nonsense when they see each other. They are interrupted by Mayfield, who definitely knows his sister. Martina says that the prince is right. She is not what the nobles say she is. Night falls, and the kingdom of Moran is enveloped in the darkness of evening. Nosa was glad to see the princess off, and wanted to talk with her longer. The mere thought that he will see her fills Nosa's heart with joy. But for Martina, he is a real fool. She easily got his kiss of fidelity. Martina's maid offers her dresses for a date, one more beautiful than the other. But Martina is against dating. She won't go anywhere. Martina asks to find her something simple. Now, all Martina can do is agree to meet the prince. Usually, she always shared her plans with Miel, but he is not here now. How Miel irritates our heroine. Martina is in great pain from the kick and decides to punish Miel. Her anger will be terrible. The action moves to one of the sunset streets of the capital. His Highness is already fully prepared to welcome Martina. Martina comes out in a hunting suit and a hunting hat. Our heroes are escorted to the prince's chambers. The prince brings the girl to the auction, confident that she will find what she is looking for. The prince always refrained from such events, but it is easier for him to end up in hell than not to accompany Martina. Martine no longer likes the prince. Most of the nobles here wear masks, and the prince brings a variety of masks to her, from colorful to simple. Martina is sure that this is not the first time the prince has been here. The prince swears to her as he puts the mask on her. He promises Martina that she will enjoy the auction. Martina reminds him that she is not here for pleasure. The prince's thin hand freezes with the cord in his hand. He promises her that he will protect Martina, but his words are dubious. The prince claims that his father should have died a long time ago. He touches Martina with a lace, and she is already afraid of the prince. Martina doesn't want to see the prince and leaves. She can't stand clumsy people. The prince will be waiting for her in the first hall and hands her a black envelope with fringe. We are transported to an auction hall filled with chairs and nobles. They decide to escort Martina to the auction hall, but marriage to the prince will turn her into a pawn. A pleasant voice calls her name, and she looks up from the stairs. Phoenix doesn't seem happy to see her in such a place. Martina decides that she does not need to be accompanied. Phoenix asks her not to play sponsor with him here and to get lost. Martina pretends that she and Phoenix don't know each other, but he's clearly not that smart. Meanwhile, the auctioneer sells the ancient exhibit for 3,800. The price is already rising, and Phoenix cannot pay for the purchase. Martina decides to make her move. She places her hand on Phoenix's hand and startles him. Martina bets 4,800 coins. Phoenix is furious. Who can make such crazy bets?